Hello everyone, this is Maryann here from Revealing Light, Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. How are you wherever you are in the world when you're watching? A huge shout out to you. Okay, so I've had viewers emailing me, asking me, you all would have heard of the tragic knife attack in Bondi Junction in Sydney, in New South Wales, and many of you have written to me or contacted me in some way to, first of all, ask if I'm okay. Yes, I am. Luckily, I didn't have anyone in that area in Sydney. I do have relatives who live in Sydney. One actually goes to the Westfield Shopping Centre of a weekend to do his shopping. And no, they were nowhere near there. Tragically, 6 people lost their lives in a fairly brutal knife attack. The attacker had mental health issues. It wasn't an attack driven by any ideology, despite the social media blowing up, accusing the person of being either Muslim or Jewish. No, this was a case of someone who had mental health issues. Now, 99% of those that died were women and children. They were who he targeted in his attack. 6 people dead and many injured in knife attacks, including a little baby who's in a critical condition. There's been a lot of bravery demonstrated on the day, and yeah, it's just a really tragic event to befall Sydney. And of course, this kind of underscores this eclipse energy that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. The conjunctions are so volatile. Saturn and Mars. I was talking about dam walls bursting. Well, actually, a dam wall did burst, but it was in Russia. Russia's going through unprecedented flooding at this time. The Orsk Dam collapsed. The third longest river in Europe, which runs through Russia and Kazakhstan, is bursting its banks. This is the worst flooding in a century that Russia has seen, and water levels are reaching new heights in Orenburg. I think it's a city of 500,000 people. I think at the time that I was reading about this, something like 110,000 people had been displaced, and water levels were expected to displace a lot of these people in this major city. So huge Saturn and Mars, water in Pisces, water energy, huge flooding events, including in my own country. I actually talked about Zaporizhzhia, the nuclear power plant. It has been hit by a series of drone attacks, and I think the latest was only a couple of days ago, but it hit a training building next to the plant. So that remains a concern that I have, along with in Ukraine the Ukrainians' ability to sustain this war. It's really quite tragic. There's talk of Ukraine having to pull back, and there's a great fear that Putin will launch an attack on Kharkiv, which is Ukraine's other major city. It's volatile there. In the meantime, Germany, the defense minister actually came out and said, well, we're preparing for war, because I can tell you that Putin, if he takes Ukraine, will not stop. I know that. I've seen that clairvoyantly. This is a march, and Germany and NATO are making these preparations for what happens if Ukraine falls. And Germany is taking this quite seriously and making those preparations to go into battle against Russia. My we'll get to that again in another reading, but my biggest fear was in the Middle East around this solar eclipse type of energy. We do have a conjunction, another astrological conjunction, another volatile Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. I've actually made a podcast on that, the Random Sage podcast, so if you haven't seen that, I'll give you a link underneath this video. It talks about that conjunction, but it flips it a little bit on its head because even though these shocking events may be unfolding, ultimately where we get to is a place of learning from those lessons and doing the groundwork, planting the seeds of a more stable world environment. So if you haven't seen that or listened to that podcast, I'll leave a link there for you, the Random Sage podcast. In my solar eclipse reading, the Saturn, Mars, and again, even the Uranus, Jupiter conjunction coming up on the 20th of April, I still stay in the Middle East. As you all know, and this is what I'm reading on today, Iran retaliated for the bombing of its embassy complex by Israel, and Israel didn't notify the US that they were going to do that. And there's this conjecture amongst Middle Eastern security experts, independent experts, scholars, that Netanyahu actually does want to draw the US into a war. And of course that would be ideal for him. He would have the most powerful army in the world fighting with him. That's not something that the US wants, nor its allies. I can tell you right now, nobody in Australia wants to be drawn into a war in the Middle East, and I'm pretty sure no one in US does either. Biden has kept a very cool head here. I saw that orb, a very cool head. Iran, for those who haven't seen, and I'm guessing you all have, Iran said they were going to retaliate again for the bombing of its embassy complex by Israel, and they did over the weekend. They launched drones and missiles. Now, very few of those drones and missiles permeated Israel's Iron Dome, but security experts are saying this could have been to work out where Israel, US, UK defence systems are in preparation for a later attack. I'm not sure about that. I felt Iran had to do what they had to save face. I mean, this is a brutal regime. The Ayatollah's regime murders and maims and kills his own people. He's not going to let a bombing of an embassy complex go unannounced or unanswered, I should say. However, what the Biden administration did was they called for a de-escalation. And it was absolutely the right thing to do. Absolutely. Very clever, strategic way of responding to this. Let's hope that's the end of it. But that's what I'm going to read on today. Meanwhile, we have the other thing I talked about was the ex-president's mental health. Health. Physical, mental health. And in a series of videos that aren't being picked up by the mainstream media, we are seeing examples of the way that he is spiraling. His health is spiraling. One particular video that I saw, he couldn't even find the word he was looking for. It's very clear to all of us what is occurring here. This is a person that is losing his cognitive ability to even string a sentence together, and these aren't isolated incidences. He talks about Biden beating Barack Hussein Obama. Biden beating? No. You all heard him talk about mixing Pelosi up with Nikki Haley. But it's more so the where he can't find the word and he stumbles and makes up a sound. It's like a sound that is nonsensical. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. This is vocabulary, loss of vocabulary. It's not loss of memory. It's actual loss of the ability to put together a word within its structure. And of course, what comes out is made up sounds and words. And it's sad and ironic that the Republicans would have to know this, would have to see the issues, cognitive issues with this person. But yet it doesn't matter to them as long as he's able to draw in his base. They would be quite prepared to put a man that is... So experts, not just me, experts say is in cognitive decline. They'd be quite happy to put someone like that in the Oval Office at a time like this. So, all right, let's get going with our questions. I think we'll start here with Israel has said we're going to retaliate. We're going to retaliate for the... I'm losing count here of it's just merging into one huge escalation, and of course you get the doom and gloom prophets on the internet talking about it's World War III. I told you it's World War III. All right. Will Israel retaliate, or will they do what the president of the US is asking them to do and de-escalate? We have the UN meeting. I'm pretty sure if the UN had gone in as they did with Serbia and Kosovo, I think they have been in the last couple of years again to Serbia and Kosovo. If they had have gone in somewhere, if there had have been people stepping up in a stronger way, this whole Middle Eastern escalation could have been avoided. Okay, so will Israel retaliate? Will Israel retaliate? Will Israel retaliate? Will Israel... Oh, by the way, I talked about in my last reading seeing large ships in the Middle East. I think some of you will recall, and of course that was a straight out, I'm just going to say pure clairvoyant vision of how this could play out. And I saw a huge ship. And of course we had Iran seizing the tanker, the Israeli-owned tanker cargo ship, boarding it and taking it into Iranian waters. So I hope I wasn't also seeing warships. All right, so will Israel retaliate? Well, of course, US did send more warships over the weekend and has had a presence there. All right, let's have a look. Well, Israel. Will Israel retaliate? Will Israel? I'm seeing somebody in a plane. I hope to goodness they don't go bombing. Get into their aircrafts and start bombing. So we've got the Ace of Wands. I'm using the Surrealist Tarot, and this speaks to a plan. Interesting image here. We've got over the seas, and we've got a rock being split in two. I'm wondering what the UK role is here as well. Because I just got a draw to the UK. All right. Will Israel retaliate and launch another attack? Will Israel retaliate and launch another attack on Iran? So we get the King of Swords, planning and strategy. Planning and strategy, and the Four of Wands. defending home and home, family. These are yes cards, unfortunately. The Five of Pentacles at the foundation of this reading. Somebody's putting pressure on them not to do this. This is aid and money as well. So I'm assuming this will be the US using some leverage here. They certainly have a plan to do this, and it could involve aerial type of attacks. And I'm not talking drones. I'm actually seeing human beings in planes. Okay, so we get the moon in the past, and I'm going to ask the question, why does Netanyahu so hell-bent on escalating and drawing the US in? This has been, the moon card tells me there's things going on underneath the surface. I said that they were in touch with the ex-president, and much is riding on November's election in the US, much in self-interest, including from Netanyahu. He has been talking to Trump, and his son-in-law Jared Kushner they met in December. So we have the death card in the sky crowning this reading. I think that is a good image symbolism here around the loss of life thus far. There's been escalations in the West Bank as well. Palestinians between Israeli settlers and Palestinians. The death card, I hope that means that this will come to an end at some point. But we have the Wheel of Fortune and very much an English type of image here. The Wheel of Fortune, I wonder what guarantees the UK has given Israel, the UK government has given Israel. The Wheel of Fortune would suggest I have something in the palm of my hand. The here and now is the Devil card, and I have no love for Netanyahu dragging us all over the edge, into the abyss here. And the Lover's card, relationships with others. So I get the intuition that there is more, the foreign minister met with the ex-president to try and convince him to free up, stop his opposition to aid in Ukraine. This is someone who's really operating a shadow government. But I just get there's levers being pulled here, that it's not just Netanyahu. It's about the push for authoritarianism, but there are players involved here that perhaps we don't expect, or we're not really understanding who is pulling the levers here, who is promising this one that and that one that. And I'm not saying it's just the ex-president of the United States. This is a Putin. I've read in the past that there's a Putin element here. We have the Three of Pentacles in the hopes and fears. Israel needs the US support, and Biden has already said don't escalate any further. We have here the Nine of Pentacles, so again, resources. It's a yes card, and the Eight of Wands, suggesting a quickening of the energies, can be an aerial attack, and then we get the Ten of Cups. I read a very good thread around the fear within Jewish people that never quite goes away in relation to the Holocaust. But fear can mortify, is that the right word? Can harden within us and direct our actions in ways that that may not be good. And then we get retreat. There's a good chance Israel's going to send missiles, drones, planes, some kind of aerial attack on Iran. And the Queen of Wands, What's at the base of the pack? The Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, it's always about expansion, land, money. It's always about that as much as it is about anything else. Because how do we solve our feelings of our negative imprints from the past? We try and solve them by becoming more powerful. And so this is the flaw within humanity, that we think that death and destruction will solve our problems. It doesn't. It doesn't. Death and destruction will only create more death and destruction. There's a good chance Israel will send aerial attacks on Iran. Okay, so can we stop this? Just two or three cards. Can Biden stop these? Plan, because I think there's already a plan in place. Can Biden stop the escalation? Can Biden and his administration stop the escalation? Nobody wants this to escalate. The Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall. The Three of Swords, heartbreak, grief, death. And the Seven of Pentacles, illusion and delusion. There's only either good choices or bad choices, and then isolation. There are no cards. I've got 3 no cards and a maybe. The Eight of Swords, restriction, and the Ace of Cups, new starts, unity. The UN is convening a meeting. America can step up if they really want in the UN. But I wonder then what the other players would do if that was the case. I'm afraid I think Israel will retaliate, launch another attack. All right, so I want to see why, and then we'll get on to the Trump trials. Why? Sorry about that noise if you can hear it. My husband is cutting wood. Why is Israel trying to draw in? Show me clearly. Why is Israel trying to draw in the US? Why is Israel trying to draw in the US? It's like a religious war as well, as I'm seeing the cross. Very much some of the fundamentalists, I won't say Christian evangelicals, some of them, groups aren't anything like Christian nationalists. So there's a distinction between the two. Christian fundamentalists in the US would absolutely back a holy war if Israel decides to take it that far. So why is Israel... It could be a push from the Zionists to bring in the US. Okay, so why is Israel wanting to draw in the US? So we get here the Knight of Swords. Obviously, their army, their soldiers, the Queen of Wands, planning, motivation, strategy. It's actually the army, the US Army that they want. The Page of Cups, bombshells and surprises. It's almost like at every point Netanyahu is not listening to what Biden is saying. In fact, they didn't, as I said before, they didn't tell the US they were going to bomb Iran's embassy complex. 5 of Wands. Look, this is a battle that's been going on from time immemorial. This is Netanyahu's way of taking what he sees is belonging to Israel, solving the Arab problem, and about enriching Israel as well. And they need the American army and might to do that. And so we have the Knight of Wands. It is about the army having access to the US Army and resources. Queen of Swords. That's again, there's a lot of women. The women are turning up here. We don't know how this is going to play out in the Congress either. So we have here the Two of Pentacles, decisions, and the Six of Pentacles, loans, debts, money, giving help. Yeah, this is a way of bringing the US in to help Israel in what is seen as he's failed Israelis as well. So this is bringing in might and right, I guess, what they think is right. Seven of Cups, again, that illusion and delusion card comes up, and the Nine of Wands, boundaries, the weary warrior and the devil, toxic energy. And then we get the Emperor, control. I think that's the president, and then huge decisions for him. The King of Pentacles, the businessman. Let's not forget what's at stake here, land and resources. All right, so let's have a look at, will the US take, I'm not going to say take the bait, but will the US be, I would hate to think they'd be cornered in any way by the reckless actions of Netanyahu. Will the US, can the US via the UN, can the US de-escalate? Can the US de-escalate? That's what they're trying to do. And we get here the Page of Cups. I think there's surprises, things coming out of left field all the time. And we get new starts. I like the cards so far. We get the Death card here. Well, I spoke too soon. Endings and new beginnings. The heartbreak and death is in the past. The Ace of Swords, the truth and clarity is crowning this reading. I like the energy. The Five of Wands, this is going to escalate a little bit more in the near future, but I'm talking about avoiding a world war. The Three of Cups, unity, and the Hierophant. This is the UN here. They are meeting. There are resolutions to come out of the UN. The Four of Cups, perhaps that's the way the US is trying to play this. The Four of Cups, in the hopes and fears, disappointment, Three Cups lost, but one is remaining. There's an ace up someone's sleeve. The Eight of Wands, taking quick action, and the Eight of Swords to restrict this. This is what I'm feeling, and the Ten of Pentacles. They can move to restrict him through, I think, isolating him. The Two of Cups, commitments, making a commitment and a contract. Yeah, there could be like a, finally, what I see as a peacekeeping force led by the US. I don't know, via the UN. This could be the time that this is needed to stop any further escalation. Okay, all right. No, I don't think World War III is on the way, but it's, you could see it get worse before finally we say no one wants another world war. Let's take control of this situation. Okay, so the Trump trials. I know many of you are waiting for that question to be asked. The Trump trials. Let's change the decks. That was the Surrealist Tarot. Why do I change the decks? It's just in new energy, new topics, new energy, new deck. Okay, so it's all about energy. It's all about, anyway, I could do another video on that, and I will. Okay, so the Trump trials. I've said there will be a conviction, and I think viewers have said, but will he go to jail? I've said all along I don't see him in jail, more in like an isolation, house arrest type environment, if he makes it that long to that. Yeah, anyway. All right, so let's look at this again. Will the ex-president be convicted in the election interference hush money case? Will the ex-president be convicted in the New York election interference hush money case? Will Trump be convicted? There's Two of Wands, something coming to fruition in time. The question is, what is? Anxiety. There's a lot riding on this case. It might be the only criminal case that the US gets to see before the election. Four of Pentacles, holding back information, standing one's ground, money issues. Five of Wands in the past. Well, we know that this energy of attack has been at the forefront, but that's in the past. That's also partisanship. The High Priestess tells me that much will come out in this trial that we don't know. Now, before someone writes to me and says, oh, but both sides have the evidence, that's one thing. I know that. It's entirely another when certain people get on the stand and start to say the things we haven't heard. The two women at the centre of this case have not been on the stand before. The High Priestess, secrets to be revealed. We have the Eight of Cups, loss and walking away. We have the Hangman, pausing something. He's tried, I think, 10 times to do that, and the court has said no every time. The appeals court acted very quickly. Barriers, saying no to this person, putting a barrier up between this behaviour that we've witnessed. The Nine of Cups in the hopes and fears that we expect and hope that there will be justice done. And the Prince of Pentacles, there will be a conviction. I think this is around also the fraud, because in order to hide that money, a series of business fraud was enacted. There could be something around, I don't know, campaign finances. There's a lot of money issues here, and of course the hush money was paid, wasn't it? A couple of 100,000. There will be a conviction, absolutely. These are all yes cards. Page of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles, consistent, reliable result. The Nine of Pentacles, again, another yes card. And the Fool card, we get the strong, well, that and the Sun, very, very strong yes cards. Yeah, he will be convicted. So the Princess of Wands and moderation. And then we get the Ten of Swords again. For Trump, the Lovers. And this card turned over and we get the Two of Cups, which is romance. Yeah. Okay, and then the Tower. Oh, it couldn't be any clearer. I think this is the time when his wife Melania might exit stage left as well. Or stage right, is it? I can't remember. Okay, so there will be a conviction there. Absolutely, I've never doubted that. I will ask if he will go to jail. Some legal experts are saying he might. Will Trump go to jail? Will Trump go to jail? All right, will Trump go to jail? Will the President go to jail on this actual charge? Will there be a jail sentence? Will there be a jail sentence for Donald Trump? For those that say he's not going to make it, I've said he's not going to make it to the election. There's a possibility. Everything is in the realms of possibility that his health could prevent him from actually. And I want to say that again. It's a possibility that this person may not make it till November the 4th. Will he go to jail though? That's the question. The Five of Wands. This is the attacks, the partisanship, making a mockery out of justice. Oh, I kid you not. Making a mockery out of justice. Making a mockery. That's what he's trying to do, to undermine justice, to create fear, to bulldoze his way through this so he doesn't face the consequences. The Two of Pentacles can be manipulation, and if we jail him, what will happen? What will happen in the country if we do that? The Eight of Swords in the past, restriction, the gag orders. He's broken the gag order over the weekend. I could be picking that energy up. He could be fined, for example. The Ace of Cups, overflowing emotion. What's crowning this reading is new starts. We have here the sun, full illumination. I do feel that he could be sentenced. That could be his sentence. But as you know, he will appeal and he will appeal and he will appeal. The sun card, wow. That's a fairly strong yes, but we haven't come to the outcome. 10 of Cups, families, the voters, and the two of Wands, something coming to fruition in time. If he will be convicted, that will influence the vote of some Republicans. They've already said if he has a criminal conviction, they won't vote for him. And I think he's going to lose voters as a result of this trial. It's something that he doesn't want to go through with. He's been trying hard to stop it. However, something coming to fruition in time, the Eight of Wands in the hopes and fears, information coming out, illicit type of salacious information that's going to go on all the front pages, all the bulletins. There's going to be a lot of it. And then we get the Seven of Cups, illusion and delusion. It's not a strong yes, but we get the Three of Pentacles. This is building something, coming together, the decree. Certainly I think there's going to be a just sentence, and it'll go all the way to the Supreme, if it can, yes, go all the way to can it federally? It'll certainly go to the New York Supreme Court. We get the Queen of Cups. There she is again. Long ago, I talked about women will take Donald Trump down. And seeing that Queen of Cups there in relation to this, yes, I think he's going to get a jail sentence. Hopefully he will be around long enough after he appeals upon appeals upon appeals for this to come into effect, some kind of, special purpose facility for him. But we get the women bringing it. The Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal bringing it, along with Michael Cohen as well. The Prince of Wands, the Queen of Swords, the sentence here. Again, home. Four of Wands could be sentenced to home detention. I do think that there is, this trial is going to damage him a lot. Will he see the back of a jail cell like the ordinary everyday person might? I don't think so. I think that they can't put an ex-president away like that. His security people will they sleep in the bunk beside him, the Secret Service. No. But I do feel that, I'll tell you clairvoyantly, when I started this reading on the ex-president, I saw a cross on a hill. And so there again, I say to you that by the time we go through the appeal process, one more. I know this is a long reading. Just a very quick question. Does Trump have dementia? I read a long time ago that he did. All right. Does Donald Trump have dementia? Does Donald Trump have dementia? I'm seeing like the, the Apple gravity type stuff, the loss of gravity, a loss of his bearings, a loss of his equilibrium. Who was it? Isaac Newton and the apple. Show me. Does Trump have dementia? A loss also of coordination. Four of Cups. 3 cups lost, 1 remaining. And then we get the Death card. Crossed by the Death card. The end for him. When the Death card crosses, or is the signifier card with the Ace of Cups, whatever ace he had up his sleeve is finished. It's finished. The Princess of Pentacles. Okay, so money. His daughter. Let's see where this is going to go. The Ace of Cups is in the past. Again, the Ace of Cups is lost. Yeah. Confusion. This is what I saw when I asked if he was going to, one of the outcome cards, if he was going to go to jail. Illusion, delusion, confusion. Doctors even. The Three of Pentacles. The Queen of Cups in the here and now. The Eight of Wands, this trial will further exacerbate. Has he got dementia? The Hierophant in the hopes and fears. The courts can't save him. And then the Princess of Swords. Again, clarity, family. And Eight of Swords, restriction, paranoia. And the Two of Wands, something coming to fruition in time. And then we get the Sun card, full illumination. And the Eight of Cups. This is pretty heavy energy for him. Does he have dementia? Well, the outcome card of the Princess of Wands, the Ten of Cups, certainly were yes cards. Something coming to fruition in time. And we get the Sun card. The Sun is strength. Full illumination. I know he's having, I don't know if it's actually dementia, but it's cognitive decline. For whatever the reason is, it's only going to get worse. There's a sense with him that he can't, it's like gravity is, he can't get his, he's having problems with his gait, with his stability, physical stability. Okay, I'll leave it there. If you've stayed this long, bye for now. Thank you for tuning in.